that's it for their tour. Hi, welcome to the virtual orientation for the 27.5 RLTS Eagle HT by Jayco. We're going to start our tour on the outside of the RV, and we're going to begin near the front. First thing we'll talk about is your door side access to the underbelly. There's a clip here to hold the compartment door up. There's plenty of storage under here. As we move forward along the outside of the RV, the next thing we'll come to is your battery storage compartment. It is also here that you'll notice we have a battery disconnect. Currently it is in the on or connected position. Now it is a variable with RVs what is actually disconnected and what is connected. I know with the more electronics you get inside them, this battery disconnect doesn't always disconnect as many things from the power. Continue to make our way along the front, and as we do so, making note of the pin. And more importantly, or as importantly, we have your safety breakaway switch. The loop end is connected to the tow vehicle. In the event that the tow vehicle is separated from the RV, this pin will be pulled free from the housing, engaging the trailer brakes. Also, the odd time you will see that during a hitch up, this gets partially pulled. If you step on or trip over or just gets caught on something, it can partially pull it free of the housing, but enough to engage the trailer brakes. So if you're having issues with the brakes being on and you're thinking that this is still fully intact, just make sure it actually is. And as we come along the front here, we will make note of your spare tire and the crank for the spare tire. Right here. Show you the front compartment here. There's lots of storage space. This current unit is sold and it has lots of room for storage for 2 generators. Also in this front compartment, you will see the manual cranks here and here for your spare tire and landing gear. Also at the front here, we have the extend and retract for your front landing gear. And as we come fully around the other side, you'll make note of your double 30-pound bottle storage with crossover regulator. Now what the crossover regulator will do, you can see that this little handle is pointed towards this tank here. In the event that this tank drops below a predetermined amount of pressure, and that's determined by the crossover regulator, when this drops below that predetermined amount of pressure, it will automatically cross over and draw from this tank regardless of where this handle is pointing. We have the door side access to the underbelly, as well as your outdoor shower. If we drop down, we'll make note of the output for the black and gray water, as well as location for your black and gray water valve handles right there. Stand up, you can make note of your outdoor shower, and we have your black tank flush. It's important to be connected to the sewer with the valves open, so that when you do flush the black tank, everything can flow freely through the system and out into the septic of the campground or wherever it is that you're emptying. Next thing we'll come to is your outdoor access to the hot water tank or hot water heater. A couple things to note: your drain plug and pressure relief valve. Always make sure this pressure relief valve is open before you try to remove the drain plug, as this is pressurized and it will come shooting out at you pretty hard and pretty quick. We're going to continue to make our way along, just making note of the venting for the refrigerator. This needs to remain obstruction free at all times for proper functioning of the refrigerator. As we continue to move along the back, we'll make note of roof access via the ladder. we have the location for your 30 amp power cord right here. This is what you connect to campground power. So most houses don't have a 30 amp receptacle on the outside of the house. Therefore, we provided you with a 15 amp conversion block so that you can connect to some power either at home or the lower powered site. It will not allow you to run the AC, but you can run most everything else. Also in this area, we have your potable water input. This is where you would put the fresh water to use in your freshwater tank. You could then set it to draw out of the freshwater tank via the water pump. Directly below, we have your city water connection, which is basically where you put your garden hose from your campground or home, connect it in here, turn the tap on, and then it will pressurize the water system of the RV, and it can be used the same as you'd use your water system at home. We have switching for your landing gear here. Now it is important to note that as the landing gear starts to work, you may notice that one side moves freely and the other side does not. That is normal functioning. One side will touch the ground first, and once it is snug to the ground, the pressure will automatically start the other side up and down. We continue to make our way along the outside. We'll make note of the input for your cable or satellite TV right here, as well as your antenna and your two speakers. Those speakers can be played with the stereo inside the unit. Now that we've come full circle, we'll make note of the output for your cable or satellite TV right here, as well as your 110 volt receptacle. This will allow you to watch TV underneath your awning. Let's open our door and make our way inside and see what we have. First thing through the door, you will notice that we have your unit fire extinguisher. I like the placement of the fire extinguisher inside the door, making it readily accessible for any cooking done outside or inside the unit. Another important safety feature straight ahead here when you come in through the door is the carbon monoxide propane detector. There is a button on the front right here that you can press to test the unit. You'll hear a series of loud beeps. A red light will come on. Once it's finished testing itself, you'll notice that the green light comes back on and stays on, and that would indicate that the system is functioning properly. Now, it is also important to note that different things can set this off other than carbon monoxide propane. One of those things being paint. So as we come inside, straight ahead here, we have 12 volt power access, as well as controls for your two main living room slide, your awning, main lights, as well as switching for your water pump and water heater on gas and electric, and your indication panels here. So we continue into the main area of the RV. We'll make note of your TV system. It fits in this cabinet here via this lock or latch. You can open it and get access to the rear of the TV very easily that way. If we come in here, you will see that we have a signal booster for the antenna. The green light is on. That means that the signal is being boosted. Now that's fine for the antenna. However, if you're wanting to use cable or satellite, the signal booster will mess up your cable or satellite signal. So make sure you come here and press this little switch right in here. Right next door, we have the stereo for the RV. This offers an auxiliary connection, HDMI, USB charging capabilities, a DVD player, radio, as well as 3 zones. Zone A and B being inside the unit, and Zone C being the speakers outside that I showed you earlier. As we look around the RV, we'll make note of your smoke detector. This smoke detector, it should be tested according to local regulations, but generally speaking, it's every 6 months to replace the batteries. So the easiest way to remember is daylight savings time. Also, in conjunction with that, I usually recommend that the carbon monoxide and propane detector I showed you earlier, that you test them at the same time. That's the easiest way to remember to test both systems. So if we come over here, Just beside the recliner here, this is where you'll find your access to your water pump. You'll see the valve here currently is set up to draw from the freshwater tank. If you were to turn the valve in the other direction, it would then be set up to draw from the fill tube and allow you to draw from an antifreeze jug and winterize your RV. Continuing on, the next thing we'll talk about is the unit GFCI. You see it here. There is a button on the front. There's no light on this one to indicate whether it's tripped or not. You just see the red and black buttons. If you have lost power to the plug there, plug in the bathroom or any of the outside plugs, the first place I'd probably look is here. Press the black reset button at the top and that could very well fix your issue. The next thing we're going to take a look at is your stove top. It's pretty self-explanatory. You put it to the light position, turn your sparking knob, and it will light the appliance. Now the oven is not controlled by the sparker knob, or does not have an automatic spark, so you will have to get your barbecue lighter or lighter back in here where the pilot is in order to light the pilot and then light the appliance. Of course, you have to turn it to the light position and press and hold the knob in as you light where I showed you inside. Okay, before we go any further, I'm going to show you the inside access point to the hot water heater. So, there's one red Robertson screw that I had to remove from this little panel under the sink. That will allow this to swing out, and now voila, we have access to the backside of the hot water tank. If you're choosing to winterize and dewinterize on your own, this is an important access point that you will need, as it provides you with a bypass for the hot water tank via that valve and that valve. In the position that we have it now, the water is flowing into and out of the hot water tank. If you wish to bypass, then you need to close these two valves, there and there, and open that one right there, and that will put you in winterizing mode. Before we leave this area of the RV, the last thing we'll make note of is your load center. This is where you'll have access to breakers like you'd see in your house and fuses like you would see in your automobile. They both function pretty much the same as they would in your house and your vehicle. As we come up the steps here, we'll make note of your thermostat. This will control your AC and your heating system. It's pretty self-explanatory. You have a cool, fan only, off, and then heat positions. Currently we're in the off position, and then we can control the fan for an auto or always on, and high-low for either or. Now with the AC on, we will note that you have these baffles along the edges of the AC unit. With those baffles closed, it will force the majority of the cold air through these ports that are located throughout the RV. With the baffles open, the majority of the air will be forced directly out from here, from the baffles themselves, and fall directly into the main area of the RV. We continue to make our way up. We have switching here for your lights and for your fan. Access to your bathroom here. And we have your third slide, which is your closet for the bedroom. And in the bedroom we have a pre-wired location for a TV, as well as mounting. We also have an emergency exit. In order to utilize the emergency exit, we'll press down on the black tab, push the right handle over and out, and then push the handle perpendicular to the window and then push it all the way out. Once it's all the way out, you can pull the red tab on the screen and then you may escape to safety. This bed is equipped with props to support the bed. Something else we want to talk about here is the Jayco remote. This will give you the ability to control the slides and the awnings and jacks while walking around the outside of the RV. There are pretty self-explanatory instructions on the back here, and it is a pretty handy feature. Now before I sign off here, there is the refrigerator I'll go through. This will work on gas or electric. So it has an auto setting, which is will automatically select electricity if present. If not, it'll default to gas. When working on the gas only setting, you will note that if both these lights start flashing, that would indicate that there is an issue with the gas. Most commonly it is either your propane bottles haven't been opened, or you've just opened them and there simply isn't enough pressure built up. In this instance, it did take me a couple times to light it. Eventually just lit a few other appliances, the stove, and then once I did that and came back and tried to light the fridge, it lit first try. That's it for their tour of your new RV. I hope you've found it informative and useful. I understand that there's many features to these RVs, and trying to guess which one is the most important to you, sometimes hard to do. So I hope I've covered almost everything that you needed me to cover. If not, give us a call and we'll do our best to answer your questions for you. Thank you very much. Enjoy your new RV. Congratulations.